This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster. We're live this afternoon. Our phone number has not changed. It's 978-534-1626. It's just like the old style party line where you can get on the phone and we have one, Carl's laughing, and we have one big party, right? Anyway, we got a busy schedule today. A couple of things that are happening and things that have changed. The stroll, which was set for this Saturday the 3rd, well, everything will be the same, it'll be moved to the 4th. It's supposed to be a day much like yesterday, which was Wednesday, and rain and winds, and as much as we're tough northeasters, us nor'easters know when to cut the cord, and we decided yesterday, first thing in the morning, we could let people know we're going to move the event to Sunday. So here's how it goes. Sunday at 2 o'clock is the Montezuma Corral. That'll go off just as planned. It starts at 2 o'clock right at City Hall. Let me back up a second. 11 o'clock, 11 till, say, 1:30 or so, the Festival of Trees will be open. So if you can't get there during the week and you wanted to get there during the day, perfect. Then and that's the same for Saturday, 11 o'clock in the morning till 3, I think. Then at 2 o'clock is the Montezuma Corral, and then at 3 starts the stroll. That's when we block all the streets off. We have all kinds of entertainment and, yeah, all that. We do chestnuts we'll be doing outside our store at Main Street Gift and Cafe, and the whole thing, right? Everything will be the same. Then at 5 o'clock, we head downtown behind Walgreens, and we start the parade. The parade is an electric light holiday parade, and that goes down from Walgreens through town, makes a loop. When we come back, Santa gets off the truck, and we light all the lights. By then, kids, parents, grandparents, hungry and tired, and if you choose to, visit some of the restaurants downtown, whatever it is that you want to do, go ahead. And so all that's happening is we're moving everything from the 3rd to the 4th. And so everything else will go off as planned. Speaking of planning, let's go back to Mr. Planner himself, who starts working on his snowblower sometime in mid-August because, well, he's waiting for the first storm. And as far as I'm concerned, he can do that because it seems like every time he has started working on that snowblower, we haven't got snow till late. So not late, but prepared. It's time for the out report.
That's right. You never know. You never know, which kind of touches on, I got a couple of safety things here that are near and dear to my heart because it drives me crazy when I see it. It seems that this is the era of tailgating. And when they tailgate, especially when you come up to a set of lights, they remain on your rear bumper. And then, of course, what usually happens next is you hear sirens coming, but you can't pull off to the right because they're so close to you. They can't move.
Right.
So I can move because I always give myself at least a hood's length distance between me and the car in front. But I can move, but they stay where they are. And it causes a delay, and God forbid, the reason the siren's on, somebody's in trouble, headed for the hospital. Stop tailgating, even when you're stopped in traffic at a light. Give yourself space so you can pull to the right. That's the thing. You can't pull to the right if you're on somebody else's bumper, unless you're behind me, because I can pull away.
That's right.
You know, it's just something that you have to do. And another thing.
Another thing.
Yes.
Yes, what?
I've tried to come up with a schedule my daily medication. And as I find that I hear through the grapevine that occasionally an hour after you took them, did I take my pills? I don't feel like going back and counting to see if I took them. Then I got to go to the calendar. Then I got to do this. Then I got to do that. All you need to do is the very first thing in the morning, if that's when you take them, or whenever it is, always keep them in the same place. I put them on the kitchen table. That way, later on, if I ask myself, did I take them, all I got to do is look at the table. If they're not there, I took them. Simple. Quite simple. Use the same routine.
See,
put
Carl?
them where you always put them.
Not the bottle, but the actual medication.
Yeah, well, then you got to count them, and
Right.
it's so much easier.
Yep.
It really is. And I understand also that the yard waste program has been extended 1 week.
Yeah, it was just so much out there, and I don't know what to do. It's 4 weeks in the spring, 4 weeks in the fall, and no matter what we do, there are people out there. I mean, it's all over the place. So we're going to extend it for another week, and that's it. We can't do it. It's $10,000 a week to do it. So
wow.
We're going to do it another week, and there's a lot of them out there, and part of it is that we can't. The problem is we don't want them stuck on the side of the road in the first snowstorm. And, it looks like the next week it's snow-free, and either that will accumulate. But it's going to take them a week to pick them up. So we're hoping by that third week, the second full week, we'll have them all picked up. We just can't leave them at the curb, and it's been a disaster by doing so. So up they come.
And not only that, too, is that if someone is negligent in doing their leaves,
yes,
in these high wind days, everybody else gets their leaves, even
That's
though
right.
ours are clean.
That's
like
right.
I got 10 more bags to clean up now because of a house on us that no one is doing the leaves.
Yep.
So I get them. And that one more quick thing: if you have a wooden deck that's attached to the house, so you got space underneath, you got space on top, equals morning dew is slippery, icy.
Yeah.
So where if you think your driveway's safe to walk on, the deck isn't. It's going to be icy till it warms up a bit or the sun gets on it.
Yep.
And I can speak from experience. That wood gets slippery quicker than pavement because it has cold under it and cold
Right.
above it, just like a bridge.
Yeah.
Bridges tended to be icy when it's weather like this because of that air underneath and the air on top equals trouble if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, my friend.
All right, Mr. Art.
And all my fans out there,
Yes.
you don't have to buy me anything for Christmas.
No,
I'm all
you've
set.
got-
I got all I need.
Yes, you've got.
Yes, I do. Donate it to the city's fund for heating people's homes.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, Art. Thank you. That was Art from the Art Report weekly. I go places and they're like, "Hey, I know you." I'm like, "You do?" And like, "Yeah, you that guy Art. He's got a show on the cable, and you're on it once in a while." And I said, "Yeah, that's me. That's me." All right, we've got a busy afternoon here. We're going to be talking Phil the Cruiser, not with people, but Phil the Cruiser with gifts. And we're also going to be talking about rebranding for MART. But in the meantime, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back at 978-534-1626. And you're back here at Inside Leominster. Thank you. And that's part of the holiday electric light show, and that starts at 5 o'clock down by Walgreens. We work our way up through town, make the loop, come back through the Common, and hit the switch. If you, you know what, maybe Saturday didn't work well for you and you couldn't be in the parade, but Sunday does, then give us a call at City Hall, 534-7500, extension 0. And I always say, you put holiday lights on a pizza box and it looks good. So you'd be surprised. Maybe you've got something, a little trailer, you want to throw some decorations on it. This is not Macy's, but you know what? We have some pretty cool floats and some pretty cool people in the, maybe you have a costume you want to wear. Maybe you're the Grinch. And anyway, give us a call, 534-7500, extension 0. Anyway, Bruno Fisher is the administrator for Montezut Regional Transit Authority. He's our guest now. Thanks for coming on. And we're going to be talking about rebranding of MART. MART is like synonymous. It's been MART for 1 billion years, I guess, right?
78, yeah. 1978.
And so people know it as MART. And then if you go to another, it's known as you know, every area's got a regional transit authority.
Yep.
Right? And so what's the rebranding all about?
So the rebranding is, you know, what we're trying to do is change the trend of transit. Transit, probably the last 6 to 8, 10 years, has kind of been dropping off nationwide, probably 6 to 8%. We were probably a little bit less than that, 3 to 4%. But you know, again, still dropping. And then COVID hit, and kind of the whole world changed. So what we really want to do is try to bring people back into transit and make it more, you know, make it more usable, make it more. One of the things we're doing is, again, this logo change. We're changing the M's. We kept MART because clearly everybody knows MART as MART. But we changed the logo. It's going to look a little bit retro style, kind of like the older, you know, city buses you used to see with the circle, and the MART in there. We'll be bringing that out soon. You know, so that'll be on our buses. It'll be on our shelters. All of our facilities will be we'll have the new signage on it and whatnot. And we're kind of bringing that along with it at the same time. We're trying to change our services at the same time. You know, one of the big things we're doing with kind of rebranding in the marketing is kind of rebuilding the transit is. We're looking to, you know, obviously electrify, but one of the biggest things we're doing is kind of downsizing the fleet. So the big city buses that you see here in Worcester and, you know, wherever you go, you know, unless you're in Boston where, you know, they have no choice but to move around, you normally don't fill those very much. So what we're looking
people get upset. They're like, "What? You're driving around with these big buses?"
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
there's nobody on them.
Channel 4 does every 2 or 3 years a little thing, you know, showing the empty bus, Worcester or wherever.
There's one guy in the window waving, "Hey, what's going on?"
Bringing attention to the fact that
I gave my $2. I'm just driving around with the bus driver all day. And
cool.
We're doing trivia.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is we bought a fairly large number of these smaller vehicle. Arbach is the company that kind of it's a Chevy chassis, and then Arbach puts the wheelchair lifts on them and whatnot. So they're wheelchair accessible. They're much lower to the ground. You know, they're really literally you can step right to them from the sidewalk, or if you need to lift or whatever. But the thought is that we really want to get out to the neighborhoods a lot more. Right. So right now, I mean,
it's hard to maneuver a big bus too.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're going through, the bigger streets. It's getting harder now because you get, all the traffic and whatnot. But certainly bringing them to the side streets where, people have kind of moved, tending to move out of the center now, maybe, moving a little bit more into the neighborhoods. So the thought is to try to get some of these smaller vehicles out so we can maybe hit more areas than we're hitting now. Because again, right now, it's like if you're going to walk 1.5 miles to get to the fixed bus, you're probably, going to find a friend who's going to take you wherever you got to go. Right. So the idea is really we bought 18 of these vehicles. So we're really, and we're using them now for some of our shuttles to Boston and Worcester.
And besides, I mean, a big bus takes longer, right? With a smaller vehicle, you're kind of hit more places faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's harder to maneuver the bigger bus. I mean, and even, when you get
stalled coming around downtown, sometimes they're pulling up near City Hall, and they're trying to make the loop to come back where the bus stop is. Well, you got to wait for everything to clear out. Right. A smaller bus, you just take the right and you're done.
Yeah. So we're hoping that'll bring back in, more people in. Again, we're down probably about 60% of what we were pre-COVID. Right. But we're really hoping that this will do it. I mean, again, with the rebranding, we're doing that. We've got a new mission statement and some core values, which we saw that will be being posted at our facilities. So we're really trying to do a lot more with that.
But it's a wonderful bus service. I mean, you can go to Target, and you can go to a Walmart center, you can go to the mall, you can go to the hospital, you can get to Fitchburg if you need to get to Burbank. I mean, it's an amazing system, and it's clean, and the drivers are excellent. And you're right. I think you can reach out a little bit further to the secondary streets rather than just being on the main streets all the time. That more people will use that mode of transportation if you can get closer to them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thought is, I mean, and one of the biggest things we're also doing is looking at the frequency of the buses. So our buses, most of them are generally an hour loop, some of them a little longer than that. So what we're trying to do is, we looked at some other systems or whatever, and a lot of them run like feeder services from, again, kind of densely populated areas, again, some of these neighborhoods we're talking about, and then down to, whether it's a business park or, maybe strip mall or whatever it may be, and try to do more of those because, an hour is an hour. I mean, what we use as the example, and I've been, we're in regional transportation planning process with the Planning Commission right now. And, I mean, an hour is an hour in all of our lives. We're all important and we're all busy and, got to get around. But, the guy who's just got to take the bus down and do a 5-minute errand and then wait 55 minutes for the bus to come back by for another 40-minute ride home, his 2 or 3 hours of his day is gone for, a short errand. So
I see people coming up Whitney Street. A lot of times they're coming up mechanic carrying bags from like Market Basket or one of the stores. And I'll stop and say, well, I feel bad. They got like, 100 bags, fingers
dangling.
holding up, a gallon of milk, and I'm like, what? Why don't you just take the bus? And they say, it's faster for me. And a lot of times they walk, a tenth of a mile, put the bags down, another tenth of a mile. And when I ask, they say, well, it takes too long for the bus. So I go in, I shop, and then I come out. It could be another, like you said, it could be another hour. They figure even walking to get up to French Hill is going to be 15 or 20 minutes, so they decide to venture out.
Yeah, I mean, even with the stops along the way, it's probably quicker. So, so one thing that frequency we really want to reduce. I mean, so we've actually started the process up in Athol because we only have one route up there. And then we have a couple of links, an Athol to Gardner link and then a Winchendon to Gardner link. So we've kind of already done them, shortened them a little bit, hit a few more spots on those. We're starting now to look at Gardner, and one of the big things we're doing is we've got a new mobility manager, and one of the things we're doing is going out and really meeting everyone, trying to get out, meet cultural groups, social groups, city planners, everyone, try to find out where the new businesses are going, where the new housing developments are going, and we'll be doing the same thing in Fitchburg and Leominster because the idea is that to try to find out where people have moved to. Transit's definitely, the trends are changing.
Sure.
Uber and Lyfts, I mean, huge in Boston, less as you come out this way, but even out this way, there's a report I saw from the DPU, Department of Public Utilities. It's still in the several hundred thousands out this way, so it's not.
Oh,
like
yeah. Oh, no.
It's not like it's not used, and again, that kind of draws away from it too because it's quicker and more expensive.
And people's lifestyle have changed. We noticed when we did the library project, we temporarily went to the Crossroads building down on Mechanic Street. Well, we didn't realize at the time, we kind of had a sense of it, how many people had moved closer to the library.
Yeah.
They're popular users of library resources. Some moved their parents closer because maybe work forced them to come and their parents got older and like, hey, why don't you just come live with us? Library's down the street. We know you like to go to the library. And we ended up having to have a bus shuttle back and forth all day. That's how important it was. Yeah. And I mean, if you think about people's lifestyles, there are more people with in-law apartments. And if somebody wants the bus, right? I mean, it's a great opportunity because, the bus comes by at 9. Yeah,
you really want to make it as convenient as possible.
Yeah, you make it, you still have your independence, still climb on the bus and go wherever you want, right? You don't have to wait for somebody to take you. And there's a lot more to that. And younger people aren't, I forget what the number is on that, but younger people, I know when it's time to get my license, my friends and I mean, the day we could get our learner's permit,
the moment.
Like, okay, it's time. And everything was lined up. Yeah. Get your learner's permit. As soon as you could get your license, you got your license. Today, a lot of students are just like, no big deal. I get around, and
Well,
the more you make it more convenient,
we have a lot of,
and it's not cheap to get your license anymore and get a car.
No,
get insurance.
Definitely not getting the car
exactly.
or putting gas in it. We have that call center we run for the human service brokerage that we run. So we got quite a few younger people working that. A lot of them don't have licenses, and millennials are now moving more
towards
like,
hey, it's not a priority.
they want to use public transit.
Yeah.
You know, they want to pay for a car and gas and all that. So yeah, so I think that's, you know, for us, that's what we really want to try to look at is, you know, changing trends in transit. You know, how do we capture that? And,
Changing the service to accommodate the lifestyle
meet the
changes
needs.
of the people that might want to use it,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember taking the bus and come down Mechanic Street, stop at the top of 6th Street, had a little thing you pull to tell you to stop.
Full stop.
Yeah, you stop, you know. But it was really convenient and a good service. It pretty much take you anywhere. And now, I mean, you've got the overnight ride service here for people at work. They'll pick them up at work.
Yep.
The best thing to do is to call the call center and see exactly, you know, explain what people are trying to do. I'm trying to get to and from work. I'm trying to get to shopping. Explain the situation, and the customer service folks over at MART can help you.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of design. Well, you know what? I think there's so many services now that people are confused about which service is best for them.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And we can explain that to
Yes,
them. And,
that's what I'm saying.
And I think the thing is, too, you know, one of the things we're doing with this rebranding and marketing is we're also kind of redoing all of our collateral and our brochures. I mean, some of them were, you know, used to be a service that funded by the federal government called Job Access Reverse Commute. We kind of kept that name for many years. So many people didn't call. That's now the evening ride service because
Right.
it's really just after hours.
Right.
And so a lot of people didn't call because they thought it was Job Access Reverse Commute. So, I can only call that up if I'm coming
Right.
home from a job. You know, like I can go in on the bus, but I can't get home. So we're trying to do all of our brochures like that. You know, kind of make them much less, you know, transit-centric language and really just more, you know, evening ride service, monthly ride service, whatever it used to be the subscription service. So we really want to make it so people understand more, make the brochures, you know, a little more colorful, make them a little easier to read, very understandable.
Yeah.
And again, you can get the same thing by, as you said, if you call our call center.
Yeah, and say, can you help me out?
Yeah.
I live on, you know, such and such a street.
They
And
can tell you
a couple
closest
times a week, I'd like to get to the senior center, or I'd like to get to a couple appointments. You know, what's the best way to do it? And, you know, we have the service for the seniors, but there's sometimes it's not one service. It's a whole bunch of them that we
it's
have.
quite a host
The
of
menu is
services.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I was coming through Somerville, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, Somerville, Cambridge area. I don't think they want anybody to have an automobile in those cities
Yeah.
anymore. They have made it almost impossible to get an automobile through those towns.
Yeah, there was an article I was reading the other day. They have a lot of these transportation management associations, and actually they're so popular because what they do is try to aggregate. You know, they go to businesses and try to aggregate.
Aggravate.
You know, or aggravate.
Yeah.
And the key's actually paying for some of that. You know, because it's just like getting their own buses in and out there is very hard. So they work with these PMAs.
They got bus lanes. So they've taken like Mass Ave used to be 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So they took 2 lanes and they made it into one. One is a bus lane. So right now, bicycles, bikes, pedestrians, you know, they talk about share the road. Well, right now, you can't get an automobile through. And the problem is, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm looking at this, and I have no science behind it. I'm thinking to myself, trucks and cars are idling on these roads a lot longer than they typically were. That's not good that cannot be good for the environment. It cannot.
No.
When it takes you from one end of Somerville to Cambridge, when it takes you 45 minutes, when it used to take you 20 minutes, that's compounding the problem as far as
I'm not
that
sure,
old bus lane.
I'm not sure they've really solved anything.
No, I think they did.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if somebody went out and studied it, they'd find out that automobiles are sitting there, trucks, and that's mostly what it is, trucks trying to move product in and out.
Right.
Cars sitting out there, that they're sitting there longer than they were before.
Right.
So
Instead
maybe
of 2 light cycles of 3, they're waiting 6.
Yeah, and you're just sitting there. And then if you're using Waze, Waze will take you off Mass Ave and put you in those neighborhoods.
Right.
So if you get behind Alewife in those neighborhoods up in there, between there and Cambridge, it just keeps taking you this way, that way to get you past the traffic.
You're like the mouse in the maze.
Yeah. So I don't understand who these planners were, but I could see it from 10 feet. I'm like, I can see what's going to happen here. In fact, if you use Waze and you're heading into Boston early in the morning, I always say it's hilarious because it'll take you off somewhere around Arlington, before Arlington.
Right.
And it'll take you all through Belmont and those places. And you always end up at that, like, Mount Auburn Hospital.
Same
You know,
spot.
you always end up there,
pinpoint.
no matter where you. But first they had you take a left and then a right. And the problem is, you're in the middle of people's neighborhoods, residential neighborhoods. I don't really want to be there. But I also
you
don't
and
want to be
several thousand
stuck in
other people.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
they didn't really solve anything. They have a bus lane, and occasionally a bus will come through.
Yeah.
You know, people are using the bike lanes. People are walking. They're very pedestrian friendly, but clearly they did this based on somebody's emotions and not studies, because this is not good.
Real planning wouldn't tell you that if you got a bus coming through every half an hour or something other to make a bus only lane.
I remember going to Maine, and I think it was you could get through the tolls for free, but you had to pay to come out.
Yeah.
And so then people got upset because I don't know, they got upset because they didn't get the revenue. I don't remember what it was. So now, if you think about it, think how much that's helped by having these automatic toll readers where you just go through and it's all done electronically. Think of all the cars that would sit in traffic going to Maine Friday night. Not that they're not anymore, but it's better. I mean, you're moving traffic.
That lane you can go through high speed is pretty nice.
Right. And that, to me, is something that you could substantiate and say, this really does have an effect on your environment. But cutting 2 lanes to 1, making everybody think that somehow or another this is better.
When it was already packed before.
It was already packed before. Now it's twice as packed. And now it's clogging up intersections. And now what happens is the way Waze or any of those electronic, trip managers operate is, if the traffic stops, it'll say there's an easier way. Yeah, but now it's off Mass Ave, and it's through neighborhoods to save sometimes.
About 400 turns.
Right, but you're saving like 2 minutes, but you don't know that. And you're like, at least I'm moving. That's the new thing. At least I'm moving. 978-534-1626, that's the phone number to call. Bruno Fisher is the administrator here at Massachusetts Regional Transit Authority, and talking about how the Transit Authority will change, to adapt better to the needs of of people in our communities, and how they'll be using smaller buses, and how that's really going to help, and how, as people's lifestyles change, some people are like, hey, you know what, I don't want my license anymore. I don't care to drive. I'm pretty much everything I need. In fact, nothing against Worcester or anything, right? But I find myself less and less having to go to those cities as I did before.
You do more local. Right?
I mean, there's not much that I can't get from here, right?
Right.
And occasionally you go, I mean, have a MassDOT meeting next Wednesday. Obviously, I'll go into town. But there's less and less. I mean, there's always things that the big cities have. But you can get there in an hour. You can take the train to get into them. So to be able to accommodate the changing lifestyles of people as they age out or retire, and it's like, you know what? I don't need to have an automobile. I work in such and such a spot. That's one thing we're seeing
with the Council on Aging is lots more transportation through them.
And I'll tell you, one bonus that we discussed with MassDOT is on the rail trail, which took 20 years, but no other rail trail had as many. I mean, we've been over the river and through the woods
several times,
over highways and railroads, other railroads, and we were through. I mean, we've been everywhere with this thing. Over 100 easements just in Leominster side that we had to abutters just on the Leominster side, and then commercial areas over highways. I mean, we've been everywhere. But the one thing that's added value to this, and I explained this to MassDOT, is I said, nothing against anybody else's trails, but if you get up to Gardner and you get up into Winchendon and you get into Ayr and all that, those are great. You get into Pepperell and all that. Those are wonderful. But the one added value of ours is people actually use it for public transportation.
Yeah.
So people that work in some of those retail centers where Marshall's is or Friendly's, or they work in the hotel or at the hospital. And our next big thing is we got to get bike racks out there, because more and more and more people are using it for that.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the usage, and they're just next, probably year or so, they're going to finish up the end of the trail down at our station down in Fitchburg, and it's amazing to see already the amount of people just using it.
It's 7 in the morning.
Before it was open.
Headlamps, it's like, wait a minute. It's like 9 at night. It's been dark for 4 hours. All of a sudden, you see somebody coming through with a headlamp, or they're walking on railroad.
Yeah.
A young lady told me the other day, she says, my boyfriend and I, we'll start out from downtown area, and we rollerblade to Water Tower Plaza area, and they've been to Applebee's and some of the other restaurants. But as I said, that added value is the fact that it's great for exercise and for families and people to get out there. But the other part of it is that transportation part, that people actually use it to get to work, to and from work.
Yeah, taking cars off the road, You know, it's amazing amount of usage of that. The same thing with that air garage that we have out there. I mean, it's the amount of people that show up there on the weekends. They'll fill the garage. It's 200 spots or 180, and they fill it right up.
Really? People use the bike trail.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But same thing here. They, like you said, they want to get out and
people are parking. We see them downtown. You can always tell they got the bike rack, right? And or they're parking at Carter Park. They're all over the place. Yeah. Or they park at Doyle and then they work their way from there. So it's been a wonderful thing. So. Thank you. Did I miss anything, Bruno?
I think we caught it all.
Once you get all the branding set, you've got pictures and all that, come back and we'll do another.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll let your office know and love to come back.
If anybody has any questions at all, you can go to the website. You can also call the call center if you want to give that information out.
Sure thing. Our call center is 978-345-7711. Any one of them can help you, and that's between generally 8:30 and 4:30, and then after 4:30, you can talk directly to the dispatchers, answer their phone up until 9. And same thing, they can answer all of your questions, where you're at, and where you need to be, and what services you need to take you there.
All right. Bruno Fisher from MART. We'll be looking for your input tonight. If you're watching tonight, it is Thursday. And we have a very important meeting at 6:30. This is for the Route 12 South. This is down by El Camino, that area. We have been promoting this more than any other project. We just got almost through the Route 13, and every day it was like whoosh, and we spent so much time. And some of the work that was done is being done, like the shifting lanes so they can work on another lane. It's kind of like the bridge, they're like shifting everybody over here because they're working here. Well, every day there was an onslaught of, the engineers don't know what they're doing, and this is wrong, and we're like, okay, but we had meetings that were public meetings,
and
nobody came to it. And they explained the whole project. They even have a little simulator, electronic simulator, to show where everybody goes, and they talk about the process. Very thorough. It's a really good presentation, and hardly anybody shows up, but they show up later during construction. But we can't do anything about it then because they're at 25% design. It's preliminary design right now. That's the time to come in tonight, 6:30, City Hall, December 1st, and comment on the project, because after that, quite honestly, they're not going to change there were a few changes that we were made, but for the most part, this is now, I don't know if you saw the cost on this project now. It's now $18 million. Yeah. This is one of the biggest projects for it's a state numbered road, but it's one of our main roads, but it's one of the higher, we're fortunate to be able to get this amount of money to do a project of this scope. I mean, think about it. We got Route 12, 13 and Route 12 South, and we've already done 12 going in and out of Fitchburg, Route 12 at the interchange of Route 2. I mean, we're fortunate to have all these things have been done in the last 5 years. I mean, that's remarkable. But
to bring in that kind of funding is really pretty amazing.
We've lucked out. So I don't know how many more days I have left on the board at MassDOT, because it's a change of administrations, and they may want to change who sits on it, but I think for Central Mass, it's the first time we've had anybody on the board, and hopefully the new governor, if it's not me, keeps somebody else on.
I think she keeps talking about equity across the state because she realizes that, again, we have nothing against the T, but they got a lot of money, and at the end of the year when they have a supplemental budget, it's like, what do you need? 180, 2 million, 200 million?
You should see the money that we pass. We did a bike lane on Boylston Street. I want to say Boylston Street, and because it's the new kind of style where it's the bike lane, then the sidewalk. Yeah. Because people open the door and then somebody, gets picked off, right? So I don't know how many millions it was. We didn't even go an eighth of a mile. Yeah. And that cost. And I'm thinking, the city of Boston has money. I mean, they have big money. I mean, they do. Yeah. It's let's face it, they have.
I think they're still holding on to some of that ARPA money.
Oh, they haven't even touched it yet, I don't think.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, and what? Does everything have to go to Boston? Does everything have to go there? And so anyway, whoever, whether it's myself and they keep me on or not, maybe there's somebody else that, and again, as administrations change, they bring new people in. But, for us, we've been able to get some good projects.
I hope the realization is there's something beyond 495.
Yeah. And, this administration was great about that. Yeah. They had Mr. Moylan on. That was the DPW director in Worcester for many years. He's been on it. To have somebody that's from the Springfield, Chicopee, Holyoke area that's been on it. And it's been really helpful. Now, has it brought, in terms of equity, has it brought all the necessary funds that really need to come out this way? and, kind of chill out a little bit on the Boston end here.
Yeah.
No, but has it helped? I think it's helped.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, they're hearing it now.
Yeah.
They're hearing. I mean, just as you said, it's just as important for the the rotaries or the bridges,
Right.
the roads around here, just as important as there. So.
Right. Exactly. And they can actually get through ours
Yeah.
without a bicycle.
Good point.
All right. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back at 978-534-1626. And we're back here at Inside Leominster. Reminding you, this afternoon we're live, and if you have any questions about anything, 534-1626. But the stroll, I keep saying it, just like leaves. Leaves ended 26th. They're still out there. Picking them up next week, last week. This is the last week. But just to remind you how things are going to go. So Saturday is scrapped. As far as the stroll, we moved everything to Sunday. On Sunday at 11 o'clock, City Hall opens for the Festival of Trees. At 2 o'clock, Montechusett Chorale kicks off their holiday concert at 2. At 3 o'clock, before that, streets will be blocked, and then we start the Festival of Trees. The stroll. That's the winter stroll. And then at 5 o'clock, we start. It starts behind Wyman's. That's where we get together. And there's still time to get on it if you'd like. Give us a call at City Hall. We'll be glad to get you in. And we start the parade. It's an electric light parade. We head downtown. We make a loop. We come back. Everybody congregates in the common, and we hit the switch for all the lights and trees and the festivities officially kick off here in the city of Leominster. So everything's moved from Saturday till Sunday. Actually, I think it seems like Saturday is a less busy day than, Sunday's a less busy day than Saturday was. It seems like there was a lot of conflict. So there we are. Anyway, our next guest, Janessa McQuade, she's the clinician outreach Leominster Police Department officer, and Officer Carlos Cintron is here. Because It's that time of year when you fill the cruiser.
That's correct.
But it's really more than that, because I've been there, and there's more gifts there than there is space for the cruiser, so you bring a trailer.
We fill the trailer, we fill the truck.
So nothing against Toys for Tots, but many years ago, we do the Toys for Tots, and there are a number of places that do it, and it's a good thing. But what we found is, things would then be packed up and then sent off to Worcester or somewhere else, and and a good program. But then when you need things, and it's not just now, it's all year. When we have a fire, and little kids are there, we like to be able to bring things out to them, and it helps the situation. DCF sometimes has to go in and remove kids from, or there's a problem in the home. Those things help. So we kind of shifted gears and said, let's do something here. Not that we don't want to help Not that we're parochial here. We don't want to help anybody else. But, you know, we got to start here because we were going back to try to get gifts. To bring them back here, it kind of seemed foolish. So the whole thing started with the, you know, with this new program was fill the cruiser.
And it worked out great.
Worked out good. So last year, I know you didn't have any trouble at all getting gifts. You got plenty of them, right? And the community responds, and there's an added feature to it because you get your kids involved, right? So you go in, you pick some things out in the store, then you come out, and you know the kids will come up and hand them to you.
The kids love handing the toys and
it's a good interaction between the police
Yes.
department and them, right, at a young age. So there are all kinds of good things that come out of this new program. So first, did you already have one?
We already had one on the December, the
Day after
November 26th. 26th.
Yep.
The Saturday after Thanksgiving, we had a drive. Unfortunately, we had to go to work a little early, so we had to cut it down short 2 hours. We will be having another one on the 11th.
Is that when we had the missing person or something?
Yes.
Is that the one? Yeah, okay.
Yes. And the 11th, which is a Sunday, will be at Walmart from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on on the 11th, we're going to be in front of Dick's Sporting Goods.
Okay.
Target Plaza.
So up by Target Plaza.
Target
yeah.
Plaza, I apologize.
Orchard Hill Park or whatever they call it.
Orchard
So
Hill Park.
You won't miss them. They're out there. You just look for a cruiser or something with police markings on it. They'll be out there.
Big
and
tent.
we've got some of the high school students that'll be helping.
Yes.
They agreed to help. They're part of the Mayor's Youth Council group. And you're going to be accepting donations until the 20th.
Correct.
At the police station.
Correct.
So tell us, so unwrapped, you ask for unwrapped gifts. That way, if it's wrapped, you can't tell what's in it, and then
Correct.
you can't help to have Santa look at it and say, I know who this belongs to, right?
Correct.
And so it's helpful to do that. And what kinds of things? Anything? Could it be clothes?
Yep, we're asking. We have people that ask for clothes to toys, and it's 0 to 18 years old.
Okay. So anything.
Anything.
Anything. And most toy drives, people give us the gifts and they forget the teenagers. The 12 to 14, 17 to 18-year-olds.
Yeah, they always forget.
So gift
They're
cards
still
are always
kids.
welcome.
All right, so anybody that's watching that's of that age, tell us what you want because I could roam around a store for 2 hours looking for something and, like, I don't know, would they want this or would they want that or, you know.
We get a lot from the teens for PlayStation
Games
cards and
Before you
things
could buy
like that.
CDs, but nobody buys CDs or anything anymore. So, you know, it used to go from rows of CD selections to now everything's on your phone. And nobody really, right? Everything's YouTube or.
That's why the gift cards have come in very handy.
So people can give gift cards.
Yes.
That's acceptable as well.
And if they give us the cash, we can buy the gift cards or bigger toy items.
Right.
Bigger gift items.
And people are really generous. We just showed, while we were chatting, we were just showing some of the pictures that you've had from the other drives. And there you go. Let's take another look at the pictures that we have here. And is that snow on the ground or something?
It is. One
It
year
is.
we were freezing
we
out
were
there.
freezing
It was
on the
snowing.
snow.
Windy and cold.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And you have a friend that has a truck that, does that friend still let you use their truck?
He still let us use the truck, but the police department now got a trailer through a grant.
Oh,
So we'll
good.
be using the trailer and the department pickup
Look
truck.
at that. I mean, that's impressive to see that amount of gifts. And again, it's not all for just, I mean, there are times during the holidays you want to distribute that. But then there are other times during the course of the year that it's really nice to have something that you can reach for.
Right.
That somebody's having a hard time and you want to be able to help them out. And, you know, to be able to reach into that is really helpful. So
So last year we filled up a 14-foot box truck.
that big one that you had.
And we had no toys left over.
Wow. So you did get them all out.
We got
That's
them all
amazing.
out. All
That
to
is
Leominster
incredible.
families.
That's good. 978-534-1626. And if you needed more information about this, do you have a number you want to share with people, or you want to just
They couldn't call the Leominster Police Department if they can't make the events.
non-emergency?
They can drop
Don't
them.
call
Yeah.
911 and say, "Hey, I got a
Thank you.
matchbox set here."
We
right?
also have a Facebook page, Leominster Police Outreach
Yep.
Facebook page.
So you can use that as well, or you can call City Hall 534-7500 extension 0.
And the
Stay with-
applications are with you guys as well.
Yes, we have all those. In fact, we have the tree that we have at City Hall, and you can take. They're gone. Like it's December 1st, and they're teens. This is all teens.
Yep.
It's been empty for a couple of days. I went to get one today, and I said, "What happened to them all?" They're like, "They're gone."
They're all gone.
In the last 7 days, let's give you a 7-day count on COVID numbers. Now we can't tell you the people that take a test in a kit and go home and take a test. Those aren't reported. But the ones we can tell you about is there were 90,000 in the state of Massachusetts that were taken in the last 7 days, and out of that, 4,425 people tested positive. 64 deaths in 7 days. One is too many. For all of Worcester County, it's 1162, and the bottom is our 2-week. They give us a 2-week count, so we're at 30-something. I don't know, somewhere around 33 or something, so that would be 66, so closer to the 40 and per week. Look at hospitalization rate right now. It's interesting because we're still at 562. We're actually low a little while ago, but this is for the whole state of Massachusetts. There are 4,000 hospital beds, and right now 562 people are in the hospital, either came in with COVID symptoms or came in for something else, and it was then determined that they had COVID as well. Intensive care is up a little bit there, 12 to 64, and intubated is now at 18, and that's gone up 4. But the number there, positivity rate, if you look at statewide average, it's almost 7, and we're about 5.5. So that's pretty good in terms of those numbers. In case you wanted to know, Carlos wanted to know this, but in 1909, the first Christmas club payment was made in the Carlisle Trust Bank Company in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So that's how long they've had. I don't know if you remember, they used to have layaway. It's actually
Yes.
come back in some stores.
Yes.
I think it was a great idea. I don't like the credit card. So if you're going to buy something, say it's $300, and it's a good thing to teach kids because there's for some reason when you purchase something on a credit card, there's less discipline, and the credit card companies know this. But if you buy something, it gets put on layaway, and you have to go in every week and put $10 towards it.
You make the extra effort.
Yeah, because you're not getting this thing until you. So now you're like, yeah, I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll save. I'll do this. I'll take my holiday money and my birthday money. A little kid, and I got the Xbox. I get some.
Yeah.
But when it goes the other way, it's like, the $20 I was going to put towards it this way, I need it for something else. But so 1913 was the first drive-up gasoline station in Pittsburgh, and in 1913, Ford Motor institutes the first moving assembly line for the Model T. In 1942, gasoline rationing in the U.S., obviously for the war. 1955, Rosa Parks is arrested for refusing to go to the back of the bus to give her seat to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. Just hard to think that, like, what? You serious? But we lived through it. 1957, Buddy Holly and the Crickets made their Ed Sullivan Show debut. And if you didn't get on the Ed Sullivan Show, you weren't going anywhere. There's 2 songs were That'll Be the Day That I Die, That'll Be the Day, and Peggy Sue. Sounded a lot alike. 1959, the first color photograph of the Earth was received from out of space, all the way back in 1959. And in 1966, 1960, I don't know what Paul McCartney and the drummer Peter Best were doing. Peter Best was actually in the Beatles, and then he left. But they got arrested for, starting a fire somewhere for arson. And then came 1988 when NBC bids a record $401 million to capture the television broadcasting rights for the 1992 Barcelona Summer Olympics. 1992, Amy Fisher, you know who she is? See, you're both too young. Amy Fisher was sentenced to 5 to 15 years for the shooting of Mary Jo Buttafuoco. She's the lady, this is the girlfriend of Buttafuoco's wife, husband. And she bangs on the door, opens the door, and shoots the lady in the face. She survived. It's just total craziness. Anyway, some people may remember that. 1997, Westinghouse formally changed its name to CBS. Yes, it used to be Westinghouse Broadcasting, and they changed it to CBS. And in 2018, the U.S. economy had been in a recession. So the National Bureau of Economic Research, after we knew we were in a recession, we felt it in the pocketbook, said, guess what? In 2007, it started a recession. And then, in 2019, a newly developed apple that can last a year, the Cosmic Crisp. Yeah, it can last a year.
Wow.
A year. I don't know how it tastes, but.
I wouldn't eat it.
And it's Commemoration Day, day without Art Day, Eat a Red Apple Day for a year, take a bite a day, National Christmas Lights Day, National Cookie Cutter Day, National Peppermint Bark Day, that's my favorite, National Women Support Women Day, Rosa Parks Day, and World AIDS Day. So there you go.
Interesting.
This is like a history lesson for college.
Yes, it is.
Don't mess around. Police station projects coming along. June 6th, they picked a date.
Yes.
I just want to make sure it's not a Saturday because graduation's the first Saturday of June. So anyway, they picked a date and said, we'll be in there by June 6th. You won't know where you are. You'll be walking around in there like
walking.
first day at the high school. I don't know, where am I supposed to be?
Sorry, I'm late for work, but I couldn't find my locker room.
I've been riding around. I've been walking around this building for the last 45 minutes. I don't know where I am.
Just like when I can't find the cruiser.
Yeah, so keep walking around. Like, I don't know, where'd they put it?
Lower
Where'd they
garage,
leave that
upper
car?
garage.
It could be anywhere. And anyway, coming along, the brickwork out front, you can see drywall installation, and it's going to be nice because the first year that we started last year, it was all outside steel work, and it was cold, and moving earth and cutting and filling. And all right, so what's going on at Shoreland Farm? You want to know where to get your tree? Support your farm. You own it. You're a taxpayer. You own a business. You live here, whatever. Support Shoreland Farms, and they're up there 7 days a week from 10 to 5, and they're selling bows and swags and wreaths. And don't forget the Christmas light show. Don't miss that. That's popular. That goes right through the New Year, and it goes 5 to 9 at night, and it runs cycles, so they change it every 15 to 20 minutes. So pretty cool. All right, so tomorrow, if you're one of those people that gets a printout of the map, or you get it on Leominster Community Development, we put a map together, and it shows you everywhere in the city where you can go around and look at all the lights that people have decorated their houses. So come on down. Everything is shifted from the 3rd to the 4th for the stroll. So again, please come down. Leominster Sportsmen's Association, they used to do this Christmas party every year, and it's back. And it's this Saturday from 2 to 7:30 at night. Pictures with Santa from 3 to 5, family and individual portraits 3 to 5. There are going to be games and food and face painting. Are you rushing me? I guess so. Everybody went 5. Anyway, Leominster Sportsman's Club. And up there on Elm Street, what's their address up there? It's something like 1455, I think. But again, just to remind you, Leominster Colonial Band will be the 11th at 2 o'clock. And it's Steve Pemarini's, 25th year? Carl is the conductor. And that's at 2. And the Montezuma Chorale will be this Sunday, the 4th, at 2 o'clock as well. Join us for a holiday market at City Hall, December 18th. Cool place to get locally made things. And there was one other thing. Oh, there was one other thing missing. The Colonial Band. The Bell Ringers. Was that slide in there? The Bell Ringers will be the 18th. Is that a Sunday night?
You have the same slides we do.
Okay. Anyway, maybe it's here. Nutcracker, the 3rd at Leominster High School, noon performance, and then 6 p.m. And yes, I don't know what happened to it, but I'm sure
we'll be back at Walmart on the 17th.
And the 17th. Okay, so that is a Sunday?
Sunday the 17th.
All right, so it's probably the 17th. Anyway, I'll give you more information about it. The Bell Ringers used to come and perform. Merrimack Valley Bell Ringers used to perform at Pilgrim Church in January. But now they're got a new slot, and I want to make sure that it's always a full house. So I just want to make sure that people know that we have changed the date. Pictures of the week. Here we go. I never know what's in these things. Thanks to our team for putting up the lights, DPW guys and the city electricians and DPW work. Everybody's out there and did a great job. Can't wait to see them lit. Festival of Trees are underway. More trees than ever. Why are there chairs there? Well, for the hearing tonight with MassDOT. So not only you get to come for a public hearing, but you get to see trees. And we have one of the only indoor trains at City Hall, anywhere that we can find, plus a jukebox. So come and kids love it. They're like, yeah, look, Ma. Work continues at Watertower Plaza. No, that's not a parking lot. People thought when they were moving, it's to create more lanes at the intersection of Hamilton and North Main Street. But people thought it's like a parking lot. New band uniforms, impressive. The students were awesome. They went off to Quincy this past weekend to perform, and they'll be in the Christmas parade on Sunday night at 5 o'clock.
Awesome.
Great turnout for the band. Material Girls working, right? They've got like $8,000 machines that they quilt with.
Wow.
And they set up at City Hall. You should see it. It's very impressive. And there's a new brush truck. That thing is a monster. That's all I could say is I hope that's in the parade. And there's our new sign, Welcome to Leominster sign with the corporation of the Leominster Chamber, Leominster Fitchburg, North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. And there we were at Simply Sweets by Christine. It's now open right there at Merriam next to Honey Farms. And those are the pictures of the week. All right. So anyway, one more time. December 11th up at Target from 10 to 2. December 17th, 10 to 2 over at Walmart. And look for the police cruiser. And they will unwrapped toys. Gift cards are acceptable. And they will also be accepting donations until December 20th. And Santa's going to be here when, Carl? 22nd. 22nd, 6:30. Santa, we book him a year in advance. He'll be here. Save the date because you'll be able to call in at 534-1626. Get the kids ready and tell Santa what it is that they would like for Christmas. Now, he'll be loading. Like, this is right down to the 22nd, like right down to the, right, 22nd, 25th, 24th. All right, we're out of time here. Thank you both for coming on. Thank you for what you do. We have a great community outreach team, and they do a wonderful job, and we're thankful for that. But we're out of time here at Inside Leominster. Thanks for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Please show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisInsuranceAgency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.